Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's Halloween tutorial is on this super glam yet kind of edgy skull look. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more simple, a little bit more easy for everyone to kind of do on Halloween night. So if you are throwing together a costume last minute, or you're not really into going full on face painting for Halloween night, you just want to do something casual, kind of simple, but still dress up, this is the look for you. I got you covered. And I have to give full credit for this look to Ida Ekman, I really hope I'm saying that right, or Ida_Alina on Instagram. I will put her little picture up there. She is the one who I saw this look on, and I just completely fell in love with it and knew I wanted to recreate it. Now, she doesn't have a YouTube channel, she just posts incredible makeup pictures. I highly recommend going to check it out, which is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to do this video on her look. So in case you maybe came across her picture before and you weren't sure how she did it, of course, this is not 100% accurate to how she did it. I don't know how she achieved the look, but this is the best interpretation or kind of recreation that I could come up with. So I really hope that I do it justice in her name. But without further ado, let's jump into this glam skull. Where I want to get started first is with some primer. I'm going to use the Becca First Light Priming Filter. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this. We're gonna go ahead and just start with the face makeup today, so that way we have that base. I'm then gonna top that off with a little bit of Professional. And I'm just gonna be placing this in my problem areas, which is my nose, the forehead, and a little bit on the chin here. And I'm just really pressing that in. Then I'm going to be taking my Flesh Thick Stick foundation, and I have the shade number 2 Milk. This foundation is slightly too light for me, but I think that is going to work out perfect for today. You want to look a little bit more ghostly, a little more dead. And I'm just adding this in sections to the face, and this foundation is incredible. If you want makeup that is going to last all night, this will do it. I wore it for 9 hours. That was the foundation test I did. Still looking flawless at 9-hour mark. So I trust this foundation. When I am working this in using my Morphe Y6. And I'm actually gonna use this like I would the concealer for today. So I'm just taking a little bit extra underneath the eyes. You know, just keeping it simple. Then going in with a little bit of Coty Airspun powder. Taking that on this Sephora flat sponge. I think it's called a multi-texture sponge. And I'm just gonna lock everything in place underneath the eyes. And I'm putting some on the nose, the chin, smile lines, and of course the forehead. Then moving on to some eyeshadow primer, I'm gonna be taking the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden. And then gonna really quickly dip from the Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette by Kat Von D. And I'm gonna take this white shade from this little center quad. And I'm gonna use this to just set that eyeshadow primer and give us that really white base. Then I'm gonna take my Sigma gel liner. This one is in Wicked. And I'm gonna combine that with my Sigma B12 bent liner, and I'm gonna start combing out some brows here. Now I'm starting off by just doing my brows how I normally would, except from with liner, of course. So I'm just filling them in, giving them some shape. All right, and then after that, I'm gonna take my NYX Epic Ink Liner, and I'm gonna create some strokes. And I'm using this just to make the strokes look a little bit darker so they stand out just a little bit more. Then from the tips of these brows, we're gonna start extending some little kind of smoke looking patterns that go up. So I'm just gonna start filling some of those in. It looks a little bit too soft, so I'm actually gonna go back with that gel liner from Sigma to make it just a little bit darker. And there we have one side. I'm gonna do the same on the opposite. And then we're gonna move on to the eyes. And I know this sounds crazy, but I've been trying to recreate her look for like the past hour. And I think this is how I landed on doing it. No clue how she does it. She doesn't have a YouTube channel. She just does a lot of makeup pictures on Instagram. So it's completely, you know, however I think it's gonna be. So I'm actually gonna start off with doing a wing liner. So I'm just taking the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper Black and just winging things out. I'm then gonna take the NYX, that's the point liner. This is a cool new little product I'm testing out. It has this little ball at the tip, so it's gonna give you those perfect circles. So I'm gonna use this to start stamping out some circles, you know, out here in the crease area, out by the wing, underneath on the lower lash line, just kind of going wild. And I'm just kind of going over this area, just like with a lot of dots. Then I'm going to be taking the Kat Von D palette again, and I'm going to be taking this black shade. And I'm using my Sigma E45 brush. And I'm going to start stamping that shade over these dots. And the reason I chose to do this afterwards is because I kept trying to do it before, and then I would have a different pattern than what I was trying to make with the dots. And each time I just ended up wiping it away because it's supposed to be a little bit more on the messy side. It's not supposed to be a perfect blended out crease. So I kept, you know, blending it out how I kind of normally would, and it's supposed to be a little bit more sporadic. You know, you have dots going a little bit everywhere. So I found that the easiest way to get a little bit more control is to actually go in with the shadow afterwards, once the dots have already been applied. So just taking that shadow and taking it a little bit all over. And then it's not like I'm being perfect with this, I'm kind of dragging it out in certain areas, just stamping on some color, blending between these dots. And there we go. All right, I'm gonna do the other eye really quickly off camera, just the same exact process, and then we're gonna move on to the other half of the face. And voila, 2 eyes done. Now let's move on to the nose. Oops, I just poked myself with the liner. Oh well, we're gonna paint that anyway. So once more, I am dipping into my Sigma liner using that same Sigma bent liner brush. I believe it's the B12. And now we're just gonna start drawing out a tiny little blacked out nose shape. We're not gonna be filling in the entire nose because then it looks a little bit too much. I did attempt this a few different times, like I said earlier, and I blacked out the entire nose and it just looked way too much. So we're just gonna do a tiny little portion of the nose with the liner, creating just like a little half circle here, filling it in slightly with this gel liner, kind of having it fade up at the top there. And then we're gonna do that same effect that we have on the eyes and just have it kind of like smoked out a little bit. Voila! Tiny little skeleton nose. Almost looks like a little mouse nose. So cute. Then we're gonna move on to the rest of the face, or the skeletal features. So I'm just gonna be taking this liner again because this is a strictly all makeup tutorial. That way, in case you don't have face paint, you don't need to dip into it. If you have face paint and you don't want to use this much gel liner, go for it. But I'm doing this so that way everyone has the opportunity to create this kind of look. And for this part, I'm gonna use that same little liner brush. And the way in which I'm gonna do this is start by divvying up the center. And then once I have the center lined out, I'm gonna go through really quickly and draw a line that is gonna be where our teeth all kind of start, going from both sides. Then going in and counting out 8 little stripes through it because we have a grand total of 32 teeth in our mouths. So I'm gonna have 8 stripes going this way, 8 stripes going that way, so that way it totals out to 32 teeth all the way around. Beautiful. Now let's move into a little bit of a larger brush. This is the Aesthetica brush, and I'm gonna start from up here where you kind of feel your cheekbone. And I'm gonna start bringing in this liner to start curving down and meeting with this line that we ended on. So just like that. In case you guys catch it, I accidentally lost count on this side, so there's only 7 lines going this way, 8 lines going that way, but oh well. I'm just gonna keep it moving. I doubt anyone will get that up close and personal and be like, you're missing 2 teeth. So what I do to go through and make sure that the teeth kind of look like teeth is in between these lines, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna create kind of like a diamond pattern in a way from the top to the bottom. And this pattern is gonna help to shape out the teeth, so you wanna do that all the way across. And then in between, once you've created, you know, the diamond pattern between the 2 lines, you wanna shape out the teeth a little bit more, making them a little bit more circular, just like so, because they're not just flat teeth, they don't just come off in a square. You know, they got a little bit of shape to them. Just gotta repeat that process all the way through. All right, and now that we have that shape all the way through on the teeth, we're gonna go through and create these kind of same smoke lines throughout these little teeth lines. You know, kind of looks like roots in a way. Ooh, I love it. It looks so edgy. Then let's move on to this part. So I'm gonna take that Aesthetica brush we were using with the liner, and from that line we created, I'm just gonna be kind of buffing that color out a little bit. I picked up no extra product. I'm literally just working with what is already on there with the liner right here and what was kind of left on the brush. So I'm just fading that out, because then we're gonna go in with that same kind of pattern, you know, smoking it down. Bada boom. Next, I'm gonna be taking this e.l.f. liquid shadow. It is in liquid gold, and this I thought might be perfect to fill in some gold teeth and just help make it really vibrant. So I'm just gonna be taking this liquid shadow in between and filling the teeth in. Probably should have done this step before all those lines. I'm gonna probably have to go in and touch some up. But this is working out beautifully. And this liquid shadow is actually really affordable. I think it's only like $4, I wanna say. I am now gonna be taking just a little bit more of that liner and kind of going over some of those lines that disappeared a little bit. Next, and I think the last step, is gonna be to take some JCat sparkling powder. This one is in amazing gold. And when working with glitter of this kind, you want to combine it with some NYX glitter glue. I plop a little bit on the back of my hand, and then wherever I want to place some of this glitter, I'm gonna take a tiny little brush, and I'm just gonna start placing that primer down, which we're gonna pop some in the inner corner. Then just picking up some of that glitter, start dabbing it on. Just kind of working that glitter up, almost touching that brow. Gonna put a little bit of glitter going up the forehead on both sides. And then I'm also just gonna start kind of placing them here and there on some of the teeth, a little bit down here on the jawline, a little bit on the chin. Okay, and then I think last place is gonna be out here on the side of the eye. And then if you want to, you can also put a little bit of sparkling powder down here on the neck in case you're gonna be showing this part. And then start placing. Might even just take a little bit on my finger. Start tapping it in like that just because it's such a large area. That was stupid, don't do that. My finger just picked up all of the glitter and the primer at the same time. Ugh. It's a mess down there now. It's a mess. Don't do it. Back in with a little bit more primer. Let's stick to using a brush. Let's not try to cut corners here. Then if you want to make your shoulders glow, let's top it off with a little bit of the ABH Liquid Gold. I have Peach Fizz, and I'm just gonna take a little bit on the shoulders. Just work it in like so. That way you can just be a golden glowing skeleton. Then I had a complete moment of what in the world. I like signed off and everything, and then I was like, wait, I'm missing my eyelashes. How could you forget the mascara and the lashes? Ah! So I'm gonna be going in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Can't believe that rookie mistake I just made. Oh my gosh. I kept looking at it and being like, I feel like something's missing. What am I missing? My eyelashes are bald. That's what. So coating both the top and lower lashes. Then let's go ahead and put on some lashes. Why can't I never find anything? I need to clean my desk. There it is, waiting for me. And then now this is the final look. Oh my gosh, I love it. It looks so freaking cool. It has a little bit of edge, but it's still pretty glam. I think that if you want to transform yourself into a skull this Halloween, you should definitely attempt this. I think you will put it on and feel like a boss. Especially if you want to put this on for Halloween night or, you know, Halloween party weekend. Just throw on a cute little outfit and you are Halloweenified. So easy peasy little Halloween makeup tutorial. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.